Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Rawan. So for today's video, I'm gonna be getting a little bit more personal with you all. I've actually been wanting to do this video for a while now, but I just didn't know how to go about it. So I'm basically just gonna sit in front of this camera and talk to you guys one-on-one. I don't have anything scripted. I don't have any notes in front of me. I'm basically just gonna be talking to you guys from the heart, and I hope that whoever's watching this knows that they're not alone, and that if you suffer from either anxiety or depression, I just want you to know that you're not alone and you can talk to someone and you can get help. Although some days can be hard, you will have those good days as well. If you don't want to hear a video about either anxiety or depression, I suggest you just click off this video right now. I want us to be very respectful towards each other in the comment section, so please, if you have nothing nice to say, then don't say it at all. I don't even know where to begin, honestly, because I feel like there's such a bigger backstory to this that I can't even tell you the story until I give you the backstory. I will try as best as I can to explain what exactly happened to me. So as you guys know, I am married. I've been married to my husband for, it's gonna be 8 years on the 26th this month. He's taken me to places that I never dreamed I would ever go to, and he is the one that opened the world of Disney to me. I had never been to Disney World when I was younger. My family, we couldn't go when we were younger, so I never got to experience the magic of Disney as a child, but I always dreamed of going there one day. He did end up taking me for our honeymoon, and I had the best time. I was mesmerized by everything that was there. We had basically like decided that we were gonna be going back every couple years if our budget allows it. So in 2010 I got married, we went to Disney World, then we booked a trip for August of 2012. My situation was kind of different when I got married. I'm gonna be doing a separate video about that, and you guys will understand a little bit more of like where I come from and how I guess we go about things. So when I got married, I was still living in my parents' house because I was studying in New York. I was studying to be a teacher, and my husband at the time lived in Dubai. Well, actually he was in Abu Dhabi and then he lived in Dubai. He was living there, I was living here, and I was going to school here. It was very, very difficult. We had a long distance relationship. In the winter break, I would see him 1 month, and then in the summer I would see him for 2. So I was seeing him 3 months out of the whole 12 months in the year, back when I was still studying for school. We had decided to take a trip, like I said, in August of 2012, so I was actually going to be going there to stay with him in the summer in Dubai, and then I was going to fly back with him to New York, and then from New York we were going to go to Disney. Okay, so that's just a little bit of backstory of like what happened there. So I had never went through anxiety in my life. Like I didn't know what anxiety was. I didn't know what anxiety felt. I just heard this word and I didn't really associate it with anything because I had never went through it. I never fully like saw what anxiety could do to a person until my sister Abir went through it. This was back in, I think, like 2012. It happened in February, I remember. Like she was going through some things, like personal things, and I saw her have a full-blown anxiety attack. I had never seen that before. She was talking about how she couldn't breathe, like she felt she had like a shortness of breath. She was getting very panicky, and I guess her body was like going through so much adrenaline, like so much adrenaline was rushing inside of her body to like calm her down, that she actually visibly started to shake. Like she was like this. It was scary. Like I'd never seen that before. So after that happened, I kind of like, I guess mentally started thinking like, oh my god, like I don't want to go through that. And I think I kind of like just like psyched myself out. I just wanted to share that like that was the first time that I actually saw someone have an anxiety attack. It was really bad, and she's in a better place right now, so I really hope that none of us, even you watching, ever go through an anxiety attack because it's not fun. Fast forward to the time when I went to go visit my husband. We were staying with his parents because he lived with his parents at the time because he was saving up money to come and live in the States. I would stay with his parents, and his mom and I, we got along like really well, and she would take me out with her and we would go grocery shopping. She would take me to the beach. We would go tanning, swimming. Like it was an awesome time because my husband obviously is working and I wasn't seeing him during the day. They work long hours in Abu Dhabi. Towards the end of my trip, this was about beginning of August, his mom was going on a trip to another country and she was gonna leave me alone, I think for like 4 days. I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, oh yeah, I'll be fine. If you're not familiar with Ramadan, it's a Muslim holiday and we basically fast for 1 month. We cannot eat or drink from sun up to sundown. I don't know why I needed to say that, but I just wanted to let you know like that was what was going on as well. My sleeping schedule started to change because of that, because obviously if we're not eating during the day, I would sleep probably from like 6 a.m. to like 5 p.m. and then I'd wake up and then we'd have like 2 more hours left to break our fast, and then we would break our fast and then I'd literally be up the entire night. And I feel like that was definitely a factor in what happened to me, because my body was not used to that. It wasn't used to staying asleep during the day and then waking up at night. Because when I was awake at night, I was just like laying down in bed. I was on my phone. I would talk to my family back in New York because of the time difference. After my mother-in-law left, I would literally just stay in my bedroom or our bedroom all day. I wouldn't see anybody until my husband came home. I was doing that like for about 4 days, where I would just be by myself all day sleeping and then wake up at night and be by myself again because my husband is sleeping, obviously, because he has to go to work the next day. This is like really hard to talk about because I don't like remembering myself like this. I think around like the 3rd day that this was happening, like after my mother-in-law left, I think my body just, it was like giving me a cry of help. I wasn't eating, and it wasn't because of the fasting. I just lost my appetite, because usually when you break your fast, you're famished. Like you want to eat as much as you can. I was not hungry. I didn't not want to eat anything. I couldn't sleep, and I actually went 2 days without sleep. And it like messed me up because I wasn't eating, my body wasn't getting the nourishment that it needed, and I wasn't sleeping, so I wasn't getting the rest that it needed. It got to the point where I would cry all the time. If I get a little emotional, I'm so sorry. This has a happy ending, I promise. So I was crying all the time. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I felt like I was going insane. My husband, he's a sweetheart. He would like try to make me feel better. He once asked if we could like go outside, because they lived in an apartment building. He asked if we could just go downstairs and walk around the neighborhood, maybe like just for me to get a breath of fresh air, because it is so hot there that the AC is on 24/7. You don't open the windows because first of all, there's a lot of dust from the sand. So I wasn't getting any fresh air. So he would tell me like, let's go downstairs, let's walk. I did it once, and then I couldn't do it again. I went downstairs. We literally didn't even take like 2 steps outside into the real world, and I was like, take me back right now, I can't do this. And I started crying. I got very emotional, and he like very hysterical, and he was like, that's okay, let's go back up. And we went up back upstairs. The night before we were supposed to fly back to New York, which by the way, I didn't even know how I was gonna take a flight back to New York feeling like this. Guys, I cannot even explain to you. I felt helpless, hopeless. I literally felt like I had no purpose in life. Like I was just like, what, like I'm just existing at this point. I'm not even living. So it got to the point where I was like hysterical, like so hysterical that my husband was like, I don't know, he didn't know what to do. Like he'd never been through this, and I really do feel so grateful that he was there every step of the way. And he ended up taking me to the hospital, and I explained to them like what I was feeling. The doctor, bless his soul, he was trying to be like funny, and he was trying to make me laugh, and obviously like when you're in that mind state, nothing is funny to you, nothing will make you laugh. And he told me, because I had told him that I'm flying back to New York tomorrow, and he was like, so that you can get some sleep, because I hadn't gotten any sleep at that point. Like I was awake for like 2.5 days without eating, like no appetite. He was like, I'm gonna give you some sleeping pills. I don't know if that was like the correct thing for him to do, but at that point, I wanted anything to make me feel better. So he gave me sleeping pills. He said to take 1 tablet right before bed, and it should knock me out. So I did end up taking it the night before, and I did fall asleep, but I slept I think for like 6 hours, which is a lot compared to what I was going through before. I wasn't sleeping at all. So I slept for 6 hours. I woke up. I was still feeling very panicky. I was crying. I was a mess. During the airport, like I was a mess. I felt like I was going to go hysterical, but I like tried to compose myself. Like I tried the best that I could, especially since my husband was with me. And I got on that plane, and I rode it for 14 hours in the state that I was in. I don't know how I went through it. And then we landed in New York. So I got to New York. Of course, like being around my family definitely helped lessen the symptoms, because I was alone in Abu Dhabi. I wasn't with anybody. My mother-in-law was gone. My husband was at work most of the time. And of course, like my sleeping schedule was just off, and I wasn't eating, and all of these factors, I think like brought out the anxiety that was inside of me. So we're in New York. We had like 2 days before we were gonna fly to Florida. So this is why I'm sharing this with you guys, because of Disney. And I wanted to share this experience because I think it's such a magical, not even magical, but the things that happened during that trip. So it was 2 days before we had to fly to Disney. I did not want to go. I was like, no, 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 I am not getting back on that plane. I know it's only 2.5 hours from New York, but no, I'm with my family now. I'm staying with my family. And my poor husband, I felt so bad for him because we had booked this like 6 months in advance. He understood like where I was coming from, but he was like, listen, like we have this booked. You love Disney World. You're going to be fine. Like you're gonna go there and you're gonna be fine. And I'm like, no, 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 I can't do it. I can't get on the plane. I can't deal with the crowds. I can't deal with the heat. It's August, like it's hot. Then my mom actually thought of the idea of a Beer and Sarah booking with us and like coming with us. That was like a 2-second dream. It didn't end up happening. He basically told me that we didn't have to go to the parks. I'm gonna get emotional right now. So he told me that as long as we're in Disney, we're gonna be okay. He said we don't have to go to the parks. We were staying at French Quarter at the time. He said we can just stay at French Quarter even if you don't leave the hotel room. Like it'll be a magical time. And the fact that he said that to me, because we spent money on this trip and he was basically telling me like, as long as we go and we're in Florida and if you want to stay in the hotel room all day, like I will stay in the hotel room with you all day. We don't have to go to the parks. It's just, it gets to me because I married a gem, honestly. Like he's never been through anxiety. He's never seen someone go through anxiety, and he was just being 100% supportive about everything. So I don't think he watches my videos, but if you are watching my videos, baby, I love you. I did end up going on that plane. We checked in. I was still like a mess. Like I was still crying. Not as hysterical, but I was still crying because like I wasn't comfortable being around people. Like I just wanted to be like in a safe space. I had just like got off a 14-hour flight like 2 days ago. I was going on another flight. Like my sleeping wasn't really that great yet. I had gotten 4 hours of sleep the night before we went to Disney. So we get to our hotel room. I'm trying to like smile and just be happy because I'm in Disney and we're not always in Disney, and I was really trying. So then he tells me, do you want to go walk around the French Quarter, take some pictures, and get some food from Sassagoula Floatworks? At that point, I really wasn't eating, guys. Like I ate like a little piece of bagel right before we got on the plane. I still didn't have an appetite. I put a dress on. It was like this gray dress. It was flowery. And then we went to Sassagoula Floatworks. We picked up a quick service. He got, I think, burgers. I got chicken nuggets and fries. I took one bite of the fry and I put it down and I started crying. So you sense a theme here. And I was like, I can't eat this, I'm sorry. And I started crying because I felt bad that I felt like this with him in Disney. He was like, why are you crying? Like you're fine. Like don't worry about anything. Like we'll take the food back into the room. I'll eat in the room. Like it's okay. We can go back to the room. We watched like Disney Channel because they have Disney Channel over there, and we watched Disney Channel. He ate his food. I Skyped with my family, and my mom was amazing. She was just giving me words of encouragement, like you can get through this, like you're going to get through this. The next morning, I actually had gotten a really good amount of sleep that night. I think I slept for like 8 hours because I slept around like 10 and I didn't wake up until 6. I felt like rejuvenated just from that sleep. I looked at my husband and I was like, do you want to go to Magic Kingdom? And he looked at me and he was like, are you sure? Because he knew that I just wanted to, like, I wanted to stay in the hotel room. And I was like, yeah, I want to go. Like, we're here. I want to go. I want to try this. So I got ready. I got a water bottle. I don't know, drinking water like really soothed me for some reason. I don't know why. I'm not gonna say that I was like immediately cured of my anxiety like when I stepped into Magic Kingdom, but I just want you guys to know that I went from like having a panic attack when I was out in public with people to being in a park with hundreds of people and being okay. Like I wasn't fully okay, but I was okay to be there. Like I didn't have to leave immediately. I always like tell the story to people, and I really felt like being in Disney helped me deal with my anxiety that I was feeling. We had an amazing trip. It was one of the best trips I had ever taken. We did so much that trip. I met so many characters. Mind you, I was hot, I was sweating, but I started to feel like myself again. And I was in Disney. Like how crazy is that? I'm not saying that Disney cured me. That's not what I'm saying at all. I wanted to share this story with you guys because Disney played a really big part in helping me cope with my anxiety. So where am I today with my anxiety? I haven't really felt that feeling of helplessness and hopelessness for a couple years now. I do feel anxious sometimes, but not to the extent of what I felt that year. Like that was probably one of the worst years. Do have to say though, I do freak out if I don't get a full night's rest of sleep. It freaks me out. I will get very anxious. I know that a lot of people go through anxiety. I know so many people in my life that go through anxiety. The thing that helps me, honestly, is being around my family definitely helps me. Never thought that I'd be doing a video about anxiety. Never in my life. If you are suffering through it, like I wanted to say, you're not alone. If you ever wanted to talk about anything or if you want to talk to someone, I'm always available. If you ever DM me like on Instagram, like I will not ignore you. I will answer you because it does take a lot amount of courage to send a message to someone, especially to a stranger. I know that you guys watch me on YouTube and you know, follow me on Instagram, but I'm still a stranger to, I guess, most of you. And the fact that I get like these messages from you guys, like saying how like my videos help you guys like, you know, when you're going through something or they make you happy, like it really does mean a lot when you guys say that to me. I do hope that this video helps someone out there, or if this story put a smile on your face, because it definitely puts a smile on my face, especially since I did go through that just really difficult time and then being able to overcome it. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and I hope that one day we can all meet each other in Disney World and just have fun at the most magical place on earth together. All right. Bye, guys.